So I'm going to load this up. So you just drag it to the viewport, C3D import. And what you're going to get a bunch of dots. Those are the markers on the suit. Okay, so you have Andreas in T-pose, getting down on the ground, and then getting back up. It's pretty simple. Okay, actually, it's so first thing we do is load up this, and then load up whatever character you want to transfer this data onto. So I'm gonna go specifically with a bigger character on purpose because I need to show you how to retarget that data on a bigger character or a smaller character. I'm going to choose a bigger character for this example. So I'm going to go with Willard because he's a bit bigger than the C3D data. So you drag that in, merge. You don't want any animation. You want him in T-pose. So you go File, Merge, no animation. What you get by default, probably the C3D will disappear. Don't worry because they're still there. You just need to change the display. So if you go in Display and Normal, it will bring back the C3D. It's just a display problem. Yes. So now you have the character facing +Z, and the optical data, I think it's facing the other way for some reason. So what we need to do is we need to make the optical data face the same way as the character. That's the first step. Okay. So we select this sphere. It's actually the parent for all the markers. Okay. So if you go on Navigator, Scene, you see there's something called the C3D optical. Underneath that is all the markers. So that's the parent of all the hierarchy. So you select that, you click rotation, put snap on, and rotate 180 degrees. Okay? So then the C3D is facing the right way. Okay? That's the first step. Hi, Nora. Next thing we're going to do is it's better to use the hip markers to match the hips of the character. You can scale it a bit. That's what we're doing now. We're scaling a bit, and that will move up those markers to match the hips. Okay? You obviously scale it up or down. If you're, let's say, choosing Pepe, you have to scale down, right? So now we're ready to add an actor. So go in Asset Browser, Templates, Character, and drag the actor, the first one, in the viewport. Just anywhere in the viewport. We haven't reached the assignation yet part. That's what we're going to do in a couple of minutes. Okay, so now we have to do another scaling, unfortunately. So we have to scale this guy to match the C3D. Okay? So first thing we do is we multiple select from the pelvis. So if you hold down space bar, hold it down, and right mouse click, you select all the pieces of the actor. Okay? And scale it up. That's a bad scale. Scale it up. There we go. So roughly to match, if you want to go in front view, views, orthographic front, or shortcut is Control F. Control F actually does two things. If you can switch between front and back. Okay, you want to be in the front. So scale it up to roughly match the C3D. I like to use the wrists as my reference for scale. So see those two markers here and here. are the wrist markers. So after you've uniformly scaled the character, the feet are going through the ground, so we need to fix that. So you select the hips, you click translate, and then you move it up so that the feet are flush. This is the grid right here, the 0, 0. Okay? You go back in perspective, view, perspective, producer perspective. And now it's time to, as you can see, it's not bad. Like, see, look, the markers actually look like they're been put on the actor. It's the same process, right? We need to scale the actor to match the C3D as well. Position it a little bit better on the hips so that it looks like he's wearing those markers. The feet are a little bit off. We can fix that soon. Always start with your hips and work your way up or down the chain, right? So now we need to work with the arms. We need to align the arms to the C3D data. So you select the right shoulder and you start rotating. Okay, you take off snap and you start rotating the arm to make it fit roughly the markers. See, those are the wrist markers. If you select that marker, it will tell you Andreas R wrist in. So those are your wrist markers. They're aligned with the wrist bone, with the hand bone actually. So this one looks like it's okay, the arm. Select the other arm. Then we rotate this one as well. Okay. We can rotate it a little bit up to make it align better with the wrist. If your character's arms is a bit bigger, you can actually scale the arm too. So if you select scale, you can scale it like this. You can scale the arms in one axis. This one is okay. But the first scale we did on all the character has to be global. Okay? It cannot have an X scale or a Z scale. The other body parts can have an X scale or a Z scale. Okay? Just a word of caution, with any body part scaling on one axis, it will scale the other side. So you can see both sides are being affected, right? So don't go too crazy with the scaling. Most of the characters are symmetrical, so you shouldn't have a lot of problems. So that should be okay. So arms, torso is okay. The head could use a little bit of scaling. Could scale it just a little bit. The head usually is fine. You don't have to worry too much about it, because as long as it's following the rotation of the character, it should be fine. Last thing we should adjust is the legs. Scaling, I think, is good. We just need to rotate them a little bit to match the C3D. Okay. Actually, the legs are okay, maybe just the feet. Okay. So I'm just going to rotate this one a little bit to match the C3D. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good like this. Okay. So now we're ready to assign the markers to the actor. Okay. So what we need to do to make it easier, I'm gonna hide this guy. So make sure you're in the character selection. Obviously, you'll have Willard and one called actor. So you make sure you're on this one. Okay. After you switch, go in the blue button all the way down to show and hide the body. Also hide the skeleton. Okay. It's okay. We'll bring it back in a second. The reason I did this, you will see in a minute, because what we need to do is we need to take all these markers and assign it to this little guy here at the bottom. Okay. So what we need to do, make sure that you see the character here in the bottom. If you don't see this, just go in the navigator, actor, and then actors, and then actor, double click on it. It will pop on the right hand side. Okay. So now what are we going to do is on the right hand side there's a button called marker set. Okay. So we need to create a marker set for this actor, basically. So you click on marker set, create, and you'll see a new assignation to the actor. So right now, all these have zero number in it. That means 0 marker have been assigned to this body part of the actor. Okay? And when I mean body actor is all these pieces, right? All these pieces are the representation of it here. Okay? So what we need to do, we need to select the markers. We're going to start with the head, top down. Select the 3 head markers. Hold Alt and drag to the head body part of that. Hold Alt, yeah. So the other way of doing this, which is kind of long, but not really, but it's just different. So let's say I want to assign the spine markers. So spine markers, be careful with the spine because they're very close to the clavicle markers. So if you select these ones, see it says left shoulder top, left shoulder bottom or back. You need to select the middle ones. See? It's these two, chest, and then these two at the bottom. Okay? So now, if you don't want to use the X and hold or Alt and hold, you go in the navigator, you go in Scene, Optical, you open that one up, and you will see what you have selected in the viewport. Okay? You will see that selection. So just left click, hold, and just drag to the selected body part, to the body part that you want to drag to. This is just another way. Okay, so if you do, since this step is a bit tricky, and if you do a mistake, let's say you drag by mistake the clavicle or the shoulder markers to the wrist, and let's say you want to delete that step, you just select the mistake that you did, I would say the body part of the actor. You will see the markers assigned to it if you select it. So right now the arm has the shoulders, so just select it, delete, select the other one, and delete. So this way it goes back to 0. Cool? So let's continue. So we did the head, we did the spine. We can do the pelvis. So we select the pelvis markers, hold Alt, click and drag to the hips. Now it's 4. Left clavicle, shoulder, to elbow or arm, biceps, 2 for the arm, and the last one is for the wrist. Okay. Same thing for the other side, right shoulder, biceps, arm, and fingers. The legs is a bit tricky. Well, not really. I think this one is chin. Okay. It's probably, yeah, we can do this. So select the top 2 thighs. So this one and knee out. So these two will be driving the thigh, and the bottom 2. No, wait. This one is the foot, right? Ankle, yeah, no. Okay, so just one for the calf. One for the calf, and for the foot, yeah, this one is a bit tricky because it's over. If one of the markers is inside the optical one, I think, I don't know if we can hide this one. If you right click on the sphere, I don't think you can hide it. Let me see if we can hide it in the schematic view. Bless you. Show. No, it doesn't work. Hide. Oh yeah, it works. Okay. So if you're having one of the markers is inside that sphere, the optical C3D, just select it, go in view, schematic, and just right click on it and hide selection if you want, if you have to. Just because the marker was inside, it's hard to select something inside of it. It should show up. Okay, guys, back to assigning the feet. So the feet will probably be these 3 markers because there's the foot and toes. Usually the toes are the last 3 markers on the character. So we will select this one. Oh, this one is unlabeled. Yay, delete. Bye-bye. Okay. So I just hid my optical data for nothing. Show selection. Okay, so this one is heel and this one is ankle. So I will assign these 2 to the marker set. Yeah, it should be the back 2 markers. Okay. And then the toe is the front 3. Okay. Hold Alt, drag, and do the other foot. I think somebody. So after you do a visual check of all the markers on the character, and you have 0, and you've assigned everything to the character, it's ready to activate. So click on this deactivate button in the where you were assigning. Actually, don't do it yet. Just a second. I want to turn on the actor. So if you go back in the blue button, show, body, then you look at it in the front. When you click activate, keep your eyes on the actor because there should be as minimum snapping as possible. Okay? So keep your eyes on the actor and the viewport, the blue actor. Click activate. See, there was minimum popping. We have the actor data being driven by the markers. Right now, we can turn back the character on. So if you go in the groups and show the character, and in the character drop-down list, switch to Wilfred. So right now, Wilfred is being driven by his T-pose, okay? We need to switch that to be driven by the actor. Okay, so the source, you have 4 choices. All the time, each character has 4 choices to be driven by. Either the skeleton, which is none, if you remember, the stance, which is just a T-pose, control rig is where you do all the edits, and story mode. And last but not least, the actor, which is what we're working on with today. Okay? So select the actor. And now, as you saw, it just snapped a little bit. So now it's being driven by the actor. So at this stage, we don't need the actor anymore. We could just hide it. So if you go on the blue button, show, go down to the middle section and just go actor body and uncheck it. Actor all will actually hide the marker set. You don't want to hide it. Not yet, anyways. Okay. So now if you scrub through, yay, our character is moving. Yay. As you can see right now, the feet are pretty good. The arms are going through because Wilfred has longer arms than the actor. See, like when he goes a push-up, the arms are going through, okay? So the way to fix this, there's 2 ways. You can either fix it now or plot on the control rig and fix it on a layer. But I would highly recommend fixing it in this stage because what you can get a lot more how can I say, you can keep the data intact at this stage. You can keep the mocap data intact, okay? So the way to do this is you go to, let's say, where you want to change the arms. So if you look at the right-hand side, you will see a bunch of circles in gray and a bunch of circles in green. If you remember a couple of weeks ago when we talked about this, the green means it's in IK space, and the gray means it's in FK space. So it's not being driven by IK, okay? So the way to change this, we select both arms, and at the bottom here, there's something called IK blend T. So this is actually the IK translation, okay? So if you put that to 100, now the hands are following exactly where the markers are, okay? So when you do this, see, it's perfectly in place. But the problem is, if you keep that IK all the time, When he drops his arms, instead of the arms being straight like the optical data, he's in kind of this mode. So you don't want that. So you want to animate that value. So when he is upright and there's no contacts with the hands, you want it in FK. But once he drops to the ground, you want it in IK. Okay? So what do? In here, you basically keyframe this value. Okay? So you select both of these, Control Select. You put a key right before the contact. See, now you just added a key on the timeline. And then you go down to the contact. So right around here. Your reference is the markers. So as soon as the markers stop on the ground, that's where you want 100% reach. Okay? So what happens now? Everything behind that is relaxed, but everything after it is good. Okay? And you do the same once he gets back up. So in here, you want to do another key for IK. And then once he is in relax, somewhere around here, you put back that to 0. Okay, I hope it's clear. I hope you guys use this in the future because it saves you a lot of time trying to make this work on a layer. On a layer, you have it's almost, you're gonna get the same result, but at least you're retaining that data intact. You're not actually moving a lot of things, because when you do it on a layer, you're moving the elbows, you're moving the whole arm. This way here, you're using the markers as data, and you're not modifying a lot of stuff. So once you're happy with the results, you have to bake it to the control rig to be able to edit and move in story mode and load it and save it and do all the regular stuff we've been doing the last 3 weeks. So you go to the blue button, bake, control rig, always choose the 3 dots. If there's no control rig already, you have to create a control rig. So you click FKIK and you plot. Okay, so right now, all this motion is on the control rig. So you can move, you can change it on a layer, right? You can do all you can delete keys if you go on the base layer. So if the mocap is like 2000 frames and you don't see your keys, that's why, because it's like over 2000 frames. You just need to zoom in like this, roughly at about maybe 300 frames, you can start seeing your keys. It's because your time segment is too big. Okay, so you just need to move the, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called the current time segment. You can change that to whatever you need to, right? And then if you want to delete just, let's say the arm is shaking or something, you go in body part, select the arm, and just delete the keys on here.